Today I'm going to be giving you the good and the bad on the Robalo 246 Cayman. We purchased this Robalo about 5 months ago. We've equipped it with 2 power poles, a jack plate, trolling motor, and you can see how the power pole and the swim platform come in with the 2021s. In the 2020 models, you couldn't have double power poles without putting a spacer plate here. So that was a good change with the 2021. One of the things I've noticed with the double power poles, and you'll see when I deploy the power pole here, is that when you're out on the beach, you can't put your swim ladder down when the power pole is deployed. This is not really a big deal breaker, but just remember when you go to the beach, you're gonna have to have your power poles in the up position. Put your step ladder down, and then deploy your power poles. Coming to the front of the boat on the outside, you can see that we got this boat in the gray color, and we also got the gray seats, and we also got the underside gray T-top. We also have LED lights, navigation lights. These work really good at night, and you have the big oversized cleats. One thing that you see on the 2021 models on the new Coyote trailer is that instead of the orange roller that they used to come with, now they come with the yellow one, and the yellow one does not leave near as much scuff marks that the orange one used to leave. The trailer is all aluminum, and the bunks are actually connected by an aluminum bracket instead of a galvanized bracket. See underneath. You also have guideposts that come with the trailer. I currently don't have them installed, but they sit nicely right here until you want to install them. And the bracket that it would connect to is this little U bracket right here. One thing you want to keep when you purchase your boat, when you unwrap it, is you'll get boat will come fully wrapped with saran wrap and everything on it, and this cover actually come on your engine. Make sure to keep this cover. It does a really good job of protecting your paint from the heat and light of the summer months. Walking into the boat and going to the front of the boat. Up front you have your anchor locker. One thing that you'll notice that the anchor locker, it does store water in here. If you have your boat up in the high position, you can see there's water that's stored in here, and that's rainwater. As soon as you lower it down and pull it out, all the water will drain out. One thing that Robalo doesn't tell you when you buy this boat is that you cannot find an anchor to fit in this anchor locker, and this anchor is actually one that was supplied to me by Sunrise Marine, and you can see that to get it to fit into the anchor locker, I had to cut here, and I cut here, and I cut there, and it's really not that straight, but it does its job. It is a bigger anchor. You do need a big anchor for this boat. The boat's really heavy. There's some small anchors that might fit into this anchor box, but it won't hold the boat down. The boat just slides or just moves when the wind blows. But it does fit. After you do cut it, it does fit good in here, perfect, and it doesn't ever move. Taking a look in this hatch here, this is the forward live well. This is good to store live shrimp in, and you can see right there it has a night light. You come on at night, water comes out here and it drains right there, and you have a plug that comes with the boat that goes there in your forward live well. The hatches on this boat work really good. I really like how easy they snap shut. They hold really tight. On the front right hand side is your ice chest. You can definitely fit a big fish in here, big king mackerel, ling, box full of snapper, and it comes in with the plug too, and the plug is right there. Still has the new boat smell. You have a rod holder right here for when fishing, and you also have rod holder, cup holder. You also have another cup holder here, and it does really good when you have your bow cushions in. Right here, you can see where your bow cushions snap in here. You have your backrest that goes here. You can see where you also have bolsters all the way around the boat here, and they work really good when fishing. You can see if I get you here. You can see my knees come up right on it when fishing. Really good to lean against, especially when offshore fishing. It does really good. Taking a look inside the center console. One thing I like about the boat and dislike is this cover here. It does a really good job of hiding the wires. You have your little light there, but one thing on the back side of this, there's a starboard, and you can't tell what hole that these screws originally went into, and so you just have to place it up there and you kind of blind screw it in. And so you'll see that starboard almost starting to look like Swiss cheese because it has multiple drill holes from me taking this on and off. And down here it just actually screws into this piece right here. One thing also that they did on the 2021 models, they moved the freshwater wash down into the front of the boat, and it is located there. You can see your freshwater pump, your tank is up there, and you have plenty of room. I keep actually my fenders right here, but you do have plenty of room in here. You can easily sit down. You can easily sit down and work on this area here if you're putting in your electronics or doing any kind of wiring. I wish they would have installed a pull cord, and you can see where I installed in the back, but I ended up having to install my own pull cord, and it's tied off right here, and there's a hole back there that pull cord goes to. And that's one thing I wish Robalo would have installed themselves. It was kind of difficult to pull that cord through. Really wish they would have put one in when they were building the boat. But you can see, definitely you can get in here, shut the door, turn the light on. You could definitely use the restroom in here if you needed to. Not tight really, a little tight but not too tight. More room than I anticipated having when I bought the boat. The 2021s come with 4 speakers. The Robalo does. Each one of these speakers have a blue LED light on it at night, so when you turn on your courtesy light, these turn blue and these turn blue. And you can see, here's your other one. Here's your back rod holders. They work really nice for bigger rods. The entry point into your gunnels is really large, and so it really allows those big spinning rods to get in here real nicely. Your back battery switch is located here. I really like this a lot better than being up front or underneath the seat. It's real easy to get to. You can just kind of hop in real quick and turn the batteries on and off. And then your next 2 speakers are right there. Underneath here, you have your back bow seat. Big seat. We can fit usually 3 kids on here, 2 adults very comfortably. And then underneath here was a big selling point for me, was the access to the bilge. And you can see where I installed 2 power pole pumps. They got rid of the bulkhead that used to be here in the older models. They got rid of that, and now you can have clear access to all of your pumps. Real easy to change your fuel water separator when it's time to do your maintenance. Real easy access to your batteries here. And then you can see where I installed another pull cord. Well, this is the other end of the pull cord for running your wires and your transducers up to the front of the boat to your electronics. Close this real quick. On the left hand side is your back live well, and this is actually a Command mop and brew handle. Works really good. This boat doesn't come with it. You can just get one at Walmart. It's a good way to hold your net, and just pops right in and out. Just actually installed those. Got that off the Robalo boat website on Facebook. Really good idea. Really liked it. And put one on the other side too. So now, yeah, you don't have to go reach down and try to find your net. It does come with the spout, and then if you don't want to use that, you can unscrew this piece and put that in. It also has the divider here, so you can store multiple baits. One thing I also like is the drain plugs. Real easy to get trash out. My old boat used to have like a dip in, and it used to be really hard to get trash out. This is all nice and flush. I really like that. Ice chest fits right here. One thing I don't like about this is that you have to pull this piece up and hold this piece up like this, and to move the ice chest out, you kind of got to hold it with your shoulder and then slide your ice chest from here, lower this, and then pick it up to put it up here to get it in and out of the boat. And this piece, this white piece here, it only fits the ice chest that comes with the boat. So if you want to put in a Arctic or Yeti, you're going to have to remove this piece. There's 4 little screws underneath and some tabs, and you're going to have to remove this piece too, because or it'll stick out like that depending on the ice chest size you have. In the back part of the boat, you have your bucket. And see where I keep a magic eraser at. I also use this as a garbage can. Then underneath here, you can see you have your live well. You can see into the next bulkhead over here. Kind of see a lot of room back here. If you wanted to store something else back here underneath your bucket, you definitely could have additional room to store other items back here underneath your bucket. You also have rod holder here. Comes with the boat. This is a cup and rod holder, and you have that on both sides, here and here. This one here is where I store all my ropes, my wash rag. This is a great little hose I got off of Amazon. It's the 25-foot size right here. It is probably the best wash down hose I've ever had. You can see it all fits in my hand, and it grows when you put water pressure on it to 25 feet, and then it reaches the length of the bow. No problem at all. I also store my boat plug in right here. Sometimes I'll store it right there, but kind of where it does move a little bit, and I just don't want it to kind of scratch right there, but I do usually I just store it right there. But plenty of room. Also have a cast net in here and a cutting board, so this area is actually really big. I actually have another magic eraser in here, so there's plenty of room to have all of your ropes and a cast net. Over here and put this back in. You come to the front of the boat, helm. You have your, boat didn't come with a Ray Marine installed. I installed that myself, but it does come with a Claritin radio system. I was surprised of how loud the system is. Running the boat fully open, I could turn this up to 30, and I can hear the radio pretty darn good. I was almost thinking about buying an amp, and after playing it, I was like, man, I really don't need an amp. So I'm really happy with the stereo system. Digital throttle, real smooth, really like that. I ended up installing my power pole here, and I didn't use screws here. I just used double-sided tape, and it's on there really good. You can't even pull it off. This button here does to your trim tab, up and down. I'll kind of show you that. See the engine going up and down. You have your horn, your nav lights, your anchor, your live well lights, courtesy lights, hard top lights, and this one is your accessory, or if you have underwater lights, it'll be here. I installed this one for my light bar on top of the T-top, and I'll show you how I installed that in a different video. You got your aft bilge, forward live well, raw water, port aft live well, starboard aft live well, fresh water, and your trim tabs. Really recommend getting trim tabs on this boat. And 1 foot seeds, you won't ever use them, and 2 foot seeds, you start to use them just a little bit. And if it's especially choppy 2 foot seeds, if it's 2 foot swells, you won't use them. But anything in 2 foot chop and more, you're really going to want your front end to be able to go down and cut through the water. The boat does an excellent job of cutting through the water. This boat is a kind of a hybrid in between the bay boats and the offshore boat series. You have enough bow rise in this boat where if it is 2 to 3 foot seas and you're trying to get in from a storm, you'll get in, feel safe, and not feel uncomfortable. Some bay boats, they have pretty much 0 bow rise, and those boats do really good in 1 foot chop, 2 foot chop, but you get anything that's bigger than 2 feet, you start taking waves over the bow of the boat, and you don't have that bow rise to make it in safely if you're out offshore fishing or in a storm. So when you are buying a boat, you really do want to look for that kind of medium bow rise. You want something where you don't have so much bow rise that you're planing off in shallow water and your back end is hitting bottom. This boat can plane off easily in about 18 inches of water. It can float with the engine up and the trolling motor down in 12 inches of water. No problem. I was actually kind of skeptical about that when I purchased the boat. I was like, well, can it really float in 12 inches of water? This boat being so heavy. But the width of it, the displacement of the water, because it's so wide, it makes it better to, draft only 12 inches. And I'll go in more detail on this on a different video, but you can see where my transducer comes out right here, and it was actually from something I installed earlier, and it goes right here through my drain plug here, and come down here and show you real quick where I installed this. You see, I got it coming from the drain plug all the way down, and then I got it right here in the flat part of the boat. One thing you want to make sure there's no chimes or anything in front of it, because if you get any turbulent water, you'll lose bottom going over trolling speed. And so you want to make sure there's nothing on the front end of this boat behind your transducer will cause turbulent water, because if you get turbulent water, you'll lose bottom at high speeds. One thing I didn't show you was the radio box. We'll go up there and take a look at the radio box, and also you have your spreader lights here. They do a really good job of lighting up the boat at night. At first I kind of wanted them to be mounted like inside the T-top like they used to be, but actually having it like this now, way bigger fan of this. It makes it easy to replace. You can adjust them. Sometimes I want it more on my deck, so I'll shine it down, and sometimes I want it shining out back where I'm drifting a popping cork out at night on the oil rigs. So it's really good to be able to adjust these. Really like that. I'll go in, see what the radio box looks like. Let's see. There you go. How to get the camera angled in. See what the radio box looks like inside, and you can see the wire from my light bar in there. You can see the wire from a light bar in there. That's what it looks like on the inside. Really wish Robalo would have installed a pull cord in here, so when you're installing a radar or light bar, it'd been really easy to pull your cords through. Shut. You can see installed the light bar up top. That didn't come from the factory. I installed that myself. And the front hatch, I think it's the last hatch that we have to look at. And you can see right here is where your batteries are located and your onboard battery charger. And this covers up. Just like that. Really like how they hide your batteries out of the way. And my previous boat, they didn't hide the batteries as well, and I didn't really like being able to see them every time I opened up the hatch. You can see the rod holders there. You can see the big gunnels entries for your rod holders. One thing I like about this boat is it only has one rod anchor storage, but you can actually fit 9 rods easily in here. And I had it this past spring break. I had 3 deep sea rods in this one, and then I had 6 inshore rods in here. And what I did, and I even had popping corks on them, I just double stacked them in here. And I think I actually had a bait rod that was in here with one of my deep sea rods. And those were 2 big spinning reels and then 1 drop down that I had in here. But there's plenty of room. And a lot of the times I just had the rods just sitting on here. I had one sitting in here. And you see they provide all these little holes in here for you to put your rods into. In a little area if you wanted to store something. But this does store with water. That's one of the bad things I didn't like about it, the boat. I wish they would have put a drain right here to drain out this water. But as soon as you take the boat off of a slant where it's not tilted like that anymore, all this water drains right out. But just something to be aware of when you have your boat stored or tilted up. You also have a front spreader light. Right here. And it does a really good job. And it comes with the big glass shield. One thing I like about this front shield here, you do have plenty of air that comes through in the hot summer days. In the winter time, I kind of wish that it had side panels here and here, especially in the winter time when the wind's coming in and you get a little bit of rain coming around. But for the most part, when fishing in this boat and it's pouring down raining, the oversized T-top does a great job of keeping you dry. On other boats I've had where you'll start feeling your shoulders get wet, but this past spring break it was actually storming and I had to drive all the way to the boat launch by myself to put the boat on the trailer because we were leaving that day. And I was like, man, I forgot that it was almost raining because of how well the T-top did and the glass did in protecting me from getting wet. Well, that concludes my review of the Robalo 246 Cayman. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, leave a comment in the comment section. Thanks.